Good morning. Happy New Year, everyone. Dear diary, everything like that. Um, yes, I've got little Sam with me. It's been a few days since my last check-in, and I'm sure that those of you that are following know that the reason for that was obviously with Christmas and festivities. All right, if you want to bite me, then you don't have to be held. I don't know, I guess because my mum's one of my big viewers, or basically I just knew that my usual viewers would be busy, and I don't know, and I did sort of say, I guess, before that I'm thinking of maybe not doing quite so many videos. I haven't been journaling or doing anything like that instead, so yeah, this isn't, I guess, too much of a catch up. Things have been the way that they are. I don't know. I guess the main driver behind why I wanted to come on and do a video today is one, for a record for myself, of the things that I've done. So yeah, things have been interesting. I guess same as last year, I was so focused on Christmas that I didn't think of what I was going to be doing for New Year's Eve this year. And even yesterday, it was still quite late in the afternoon without having a set plan, but that didn't concern me too much because I knew that what I really wanted to do was a bit of spell work from the new diary planner that I showed you guys a couple of weeks ago that I bought myself for this year. So one of my goals for this year is to, I guess, it's not necessarily about the spellcraft, but it's about taking time for ritual and to make offerings to nature, the universe. It's a way for me to be back in tune with the cycles of the seasons, the cycles of the moon, and how that relates to, the cycles of my own body, or even, the waves and fluctuations, and how the seasons also inspire sort of different emotions. So as we go into winter, it's more reflective and solemn, and right now in summer we're meant to be, enjoying the fruits of labor and prosperous harvest and things like that. So yeah, last night I went and met up with Rachel for a couple of hours. I didn't think that we would, but we had a drink together, which was really, really lovely. And she bought this movie called Richard Says Goodbye, I believe it was called, with Johnny Depp. It was like a movie that we'd never heard of, and it only came out last year. It's quite a short film. It only went for about 84 minutes plus credits. So yeah, we watched that, and I suppose some elements of it were kind of triggering. It's about a man that basically, I mean, it happens in the first 5 minutes, so I'm not spoiling too much, but he receives a terminal diagnosis, and it's kind of what he does with his life after that. There's you watch him sort of go through stages of grief, turbulent relationships, acting out, taking drugs, this, that, and whatever. So some elements of it were maybe a little bit triggering in that sense, or it could have been a lot more triggering, but it wasn't. Instead, it was just really, I think the message that kept being reinforced for me was about, letting go and letting things go, and, even, I don't know, it was great to share that with Rachel as well, I think, because she understands a lot of the way that my thought processes work and things. So we were sort of, as we're talking about things, quite on the same page, which was cool. So that was really, really lovely. And then she was fine. I wanted, I think, initially to sort of be with her for the midnight countdown. But so I sent her a message saying, because she used to be pagan, I think she'd be okay with me saying that. And so I was invited her to participate in this ritual with me if she wanted to, which she politely declined, and that's fine. It's something that I knew that I wanted to do anyway. And so she was happy to let me leave a little bit early, just after 11, so that I could come home and complete that ritual, which I did. I went and picked up Alex. He was by himself up by the lake waiting for fireworks, which apparently never happened. So I picked him up on the way, and he came back, and he wanted to do the ritual with me. So we did it together, but he wanted to keep his intentions to himself, which is fine. I read mine out aloud, so I did most of the talking and everything, and I let him be along for solemn presence and participation. And I suppose some of the work that we did last night already started to manifest, like, pretty much straight away. I completed the ritual and was just feeling excited and elated and optimistic, and just, all the positives about looking forward. I genuinely am. I'm excited for these new life opportunities that I am going, and I'm ready to embrace it. I think I need to work a little bit more on the idea of surrendering, and I need to cultivate a bit more faith in myself. But that will also all come with experience, the more that I do to look after myself. But what I do want to talk about is I do want to talk about Alex. And I'm hesitant to, because I know that I've said before I can't be friends with Alex, but then I keep talking to him. And I even, unpacked this with Matilda when I saw her last Tuesday, Christmas Eve. I had an appointment with her because, the Alex thing always keeps coming up. And, Alex and I have a karmic relationship. By the way that I feel about him and things like that, I'm under the impression that I think I was his mother before, in a past life, and that I've always struggled to let him go, to let him make decisions, and, because I just see him not living his best life, and I know that could be changed. All he has to do is ask, or reach out his hand, or tell the universe, or whatever, but instead he accepts his circumstances. And it got to the point last night, and he was basically sharing with me, I had these intentions for, about myself, about fostering self-care, and, putting my, my physical and mental health, as well as my emotional and spiritual well-being, as a priority for this year. That is my intention, and to do that without feeling guilty is the key part for that as well. I think we feel quite guilty, women or anyone in general, when we feel like we're prioritizing ourselves over others. And I feel that particularly myself, because I'm a giver by nature, and I think because I've experienced various different forms of hardship throughout my life already, I don't know, my hope or aim or whatever, I think it's more hope. I want to prevent anyone else from feeling that pain. So, my life, I guess, has always been, and this is Matilda's words, it's not mine, I'm not trying to put myself up on a pedestal, but that I'm always the rescuer. you know, and I'm drawn to people who are struggling or not doing well because I want to help them, I want to save them, I want to end their suffering. But the thing is, when you rescue people like that, they don't learn the skills on how to save themselves. And so that's been sort of, I guess, the dynamic, especially between Alex and I, as I'm watching him in what I feel is like this downward spiraling path, and there's nothing I can say to get him to get help. And I feel that, I mean, it wasn't always a conscious thought, but that I think I've allowed myself to relapse and slip so much because when cannabis isn't a part of my life, neither is Alex. That wasn't always the case. That wasn't the case when we were together as teenagers. I actually didn't even know he was a stoner because he stopped smoking when we were together. So that dynamic has changed, but we do bring out the worst in each other. And yeah, that was really highlighted, I guess, last night. So I was feeling quite elated and excited, and he ended up sharing that his intention for, I don't know, sometime this year, like he just started going on about all this depressing stuff about how every year he just convinces himself to give life another shot, like let's just give it one more year, and that's basically what he's been doing with his life for the past however many years. And now he has 10 grand. I've mentioned that before. He's got quite a bit of money saved up, and rather than use that money to, you know, make a better life for himself, he shared with me that his plans are to buy a handgun and 12 clips, and to beat the shit out of Jonesy, drag his body over to his mother's place so that she can watch Alex put 5 clips in Jonesy's head before he puts 5 in her head, and then the last 2 are for himself. And I really just had no idea how to really take any of that information. I was quite concerned, especially like, yeah, when he's refusing to get help. He thinks he doesn't need help because he's not going to act upon any of his suicidal thoughts. He just has to battle with them every day. And I'm like, well, you don't have to battle with them. But anyway, he doesn't want to help himself. That's the kind of life that he wants to live. That's the kind of shit that he wants to think about. And I was triggered in my own way, and I just sort of went into myself. And then he wanted us to be there for each other, and I'm like, look, man, I'm not helping you. I'm looking after myself right now. And then he just kept getting upset, and I ended up kicking him out of the house. It must have been at around 1:45. So he only came over again for a couple of hours. But then things got really, really full on. He was coming to, so I'll just sort of show from here. You can see the very bottom one is me calling him at 11:20 last night to pick him up. And then since then, after he left, I've had 10 missed calls. I checked my message bank to see what voice message he left. He then called another 40 times. That voice message that he left that time where I heard it, he basically said, like, there's no friendship between us. Fuck off, never contact him again. So I sent him a message saying, you know, may 2020 bring you the courage to pursue your dreams. May you find joy and happiness every day, and may you find peace within your soul. Goodbye, Alex. And then kind of the next thing I knew, he was just coming to the door and like banging on the front door, demanding that I like open it and be heard. And I like the cats were getting scared. I was actually getting really scared. There was one point where like the gate sounded like it was being banged, and then I could hear glass breaking, and I had no idea what was happening, but I was also like, because of the way that the front door is, if I open the door, then I'm completely vulnerable. There's no lock or anything else like that in the way. So I was scared to open the door, and I guess I, in the end, just had to try and ignore him. I let him know. I sent messages saying, I don't want to hear from you. Like, I'm respecting your wishes to not be in contact anymore, and I would like you to not contact me anymore. Can you please leave the house? Shut the gate behind you, go home, and we won't speak to each other anymore. And yeah, he basically wouldn't. He would keep coming to the house, banging on the door, demanding that I listen to him. So then I just started playing music so that I couldn't hear him, which I think he could hear the music. And so I know that he was sort of just like pleading with me. He just kept sort of saying my name so that I would listen. And so then I went and found my headphones and put those in just because they're really quite noise cancelling. And unfortunately, this little miss, she's got a very bad habit of playing with cords, which her mum told me about. And she has been trying to play with the charging cables for the phone, but she clean bit through my headphones while I was listening to them, so I'm going to have to buy a new set, unfortunately. But yeah, so last night was rough. It was really, really rough. And I mentioned that to my mum, who called to wish me a happy new year, and I just, I was up until 3 a.m. smoking. That was also, I guess, kind of strategic because I was disorganized and not thinking, and I forgot to go and pick up my Mtvd script yesterday, and being New Year's Day today, the chemist isn't open, so I can't pick up my meds until tomorrow, so I only had one Mtvd tablet left, and I guess I was like, well, what are you going to do? And my reasoning was that, well, if I'm seeing Alex, I will inevitably end up using, so how about I use New Year's Eve and don't take my medication? I will have enough of a build-up of the med. Like, it's okay. If I go 2 days without taking my meds, then things will start to probably get a little bit scary. But missing 1 day isn't going to be the end of the world. The half-life of the medication is something like 36 hours. So it may start to wear off sort of soonish, or has. But in a couple of hours' time, I will be taking the meds again and getting the script filled again tomorrow. So, please don't be too concerned about that. And yeah, I'm aware of how long this video is, so I'm going to end it here. I will say that, yeah, it was a slow start to this morning. My body is feeling pretty tired and tense in some areas, so I jumped through the shower. That helped loosen some things up. I had planned to go down to Fernwood today and start some interval training on cardio, but I don't want to overload my muscles, so I think I might just do some light cardio either on the treadmill or the bike, and then spend a decent amount of time just stretching everything, because stretching's the best. Yeah, so I've made a plan to go down there at 5 o'clock today to do that. And then if I feel up to it, there is a virtual Shabam class, which always makes me get Ricky Martin's She Bangs song stuck in my head. But I don't think it's like Zumba, but from what I can see is it's like a dance class. So I guess it'll be like light cardio and kind of feel a bit fun. I'm hoping that if I have a couple of Ks on the bike or walking and then a decent stretch session, that I'll be up all good, raring to go. I've completed a ritual this morning to again ask for prosperity in the year. I think I'm going to redo that ritual again on the full moon. it's meant to be done sort of on the full moon and in a garden that you have like seedlings and stuff, which is not what I've got going at the moment. So, but that's okay. What I've done instead is I sort of adjusted it and I said, look, with the power of the waxing moon, so the moon's getting bigger at the moment, you know, to use that energy for it to reach its potential. And then I guess I hope that on the full moon I'll be able to do like sort of a follow-up ritual, cultivating that full energy. Yeah, so I've done that, and I did a massive distant healing. I treated so many people. Usually a distant healing only takes about half an hour. This time it took a full hour. Some of the people I treated are people that I am letting go from my life, and it's to release them with loving kindness, and you know, that intention was written into the book as well. So I guess spiritually I'm making steps to try and create distance between myself and the things that I am really starting to see that aren't serving my highest good, or just aren't positive influences in my life. And I'm going to continue working with that energy, breaking it out, cultivating it, and things like that. So yeah, so that's a longer than intended update. I am going to do another video right after this. I want to record the voice messages, because I'm sure that when Alex realized that he was blocked, he would have left me some voice messages. And yeah, I guess I just want a record of them somewhere. I mentioned to Alex that, you know, him being at the house and terrorizing me by banging on the door, breaking glass, yelling at me through the door, causing a massive disturbance between 2 a.m. and 3:30 a.m. I was really concerned just of how that would reflect on my neighbours, and I hoped that they were out partying or knocked out from partying, or that they would hear what's going on and that they would call the police. So we'll see. I'm going to jump off this video, I'm going to let it upload, and then I'm going to do another video where I listen to my voice messages, just so that there is a record, because Alex has also tried to contact me this morning. I don't know, I'm kind of in two camps. I'm like, don't listen to them, but I'm like, I don't want to listen to them later. So let's get it out of the way now. That way, when people who actually want to contact me and leave a voice message, I don't have to go through a series of Alex messages, potentially re-triggering me before I get to the important message that I'm actually trying to be there for. Yeah, so that's me. I'm going to go. Thank you for checking in, and there will be another video up shortly. So I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye.